Who has the best driver lineup in Formula 1? It's rarely an easy question to answer, and in a sport where half a second can feel like an age, it's very easy for perspectives to change even when the puzzle pieces don't. So even though the 2022 F1 silly season only featured 4 driver moves, compared to the vast shake-up we had for 2021, there was still plenty of ground to cover when we got our team at the race to rank the teammate pairings for the new season. As we run through the order that our combined rankings created, make sure you let us know how you rate each lineup for this year. Number 10. Haas. It's not a huge surprise to see Haas stuck at the bottom of the pile, with all bar one of our 10 panellists ranking the pairing of Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin in 10th place. The feeling among many of our team was that while Schumacher enhanced his reputation with a solid rookie season in a car that was always going to be stuck at the back, Mazepin's erratic performances weren't up to the standard that would be expected of any Formula 2 race winner who stepped up. If Haas can come up with a car worthy of fighting for points under this year's new rules, expect to see Schumacher making the best job of picking up those results. Number 9. Williams. George Russell's move from Williams to Mercedes has had an impact at both ends of our ranking. Williams has moved down a place compared to when we did this in 2021, although there is plenty of intrigue around how Alex Albon will handle his fresh start away from the Red Bull stable. Can he achieve what Pierre Gasly managed after stepping down from Red Bull's main team, or is the move to an external team that is likely to be less competitive going to scupper Albon's chance at regaining some career momentum? Wherever Williams finds itself in the pecking order under the new rules, Albon's performances against Nicholas Latifi will regularly be benchmarked against how Russell compared to the Canadian during 2020 and 21. Number 8. Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo accounts for 2 of the 4 driver changes on the grid for 2022. Mercedes to Alfa will be a bigger step down than Valtteri Bottas would have hoped for once his time alongside Lewis Hamilton was up, but unlike when this team had Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi last year, there will be fewer doubts about if the car is being driven to its full potential, particularly over a single lap. Guan Yu Zhou has potential, but he arrives in F1 having already been battered with the pay driver tag, not helped by the fact he claimed the final available seat for this year when most onlookers wanted to see F2 champion Oscar Piastri get onto the grid. Number 7. Aston Martin. Aston Martin's first season under its new identity was not a convincing one, and there remain doubts about the consistency of both Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll after a patchy first season in green. Team personnel say Vettel has made a huge impact as a leader inside the team off track, but he needs to combine that with rediscovering his best form on a much more regular basis. There were some promising peaks in 2021, he just needs more of them. If he can do that, he has the potential to firmly brush Stroll aside, unless the Canadian can take a big step forward in what will be his 6th F1 season. Before we move on to the team in 6th place, we just wanted to start 2022 by thanking everyone who has subscribed to our channel in the first 2 years here at the race. Your support means the world to us, and we're going to up our game this year to give you even more to watch and enjoy here. If you're not already part of the team, then make sure you don't miss any of that by hitting the subscribe button at any time so you can join us for what is sure to be another rollercoaster F1 season. Number 6. Alpha Tauri. It's fair to say AlphaTauri's position on this list isn't being dictated by Pierre Gasly, who was absolutely superb in 2021 as the team's leader. But his rookie teammate Yuki Tsunoda didn't hold up his end of the bargain, so we are going into the promising Japanese driver's 2nd season with just as many questions about him as we had 12 months ago. If Tsunoda gets it together this year, AlphaTauri will have one of the most exciting driver lineups in F1's midfield. Number 5. Alpine. Suggestions in 2021 that these drivers would clash behind the scenes, or that Fernando Alonso's relentlessness would crush Esteban Ocon in the same way it did Stoffel Vandoorne at McLaren, both proved to be wide of the mark. Alonso and Ocon worked well together, pushed each other on, and genuinely contributed to each other's best results of the year by holding up a chasing rival in Hungary and Qatar respectively. The lingering question for 2022 is if that relationship was so positive because of the underdog spirit Alonso had a hand in creating at Alpine. If the car is more competitive this year, can they still get on while pushing to find that final half a tenth that can make all the difference at the front? Number 4, McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo's unexpectedly tough first season at McLaren makes the team's lineup incredibly difficult to judge. If the Australian is happier with the 2022 car than he was the 2021 machine, and he can operate at the same level as Lando Norris, then this becomes a partnership that can be in a discussion for any of the top 3 places on this list. Until we get those answers once the season gets going, even placing McLaren as high as 4th on this list feels like it requires an element of faith that Ricciardo can rediscover his mojo. Number 3, Red Bull. Clearly, Red Bull's position on this list is not placing any doubts on the brilliance of world champion Max Verstappen. But while Verstappen credited new teammate Sergio Perez with playing a key role in helping him win the title, particularly with his savvy balking of Lewis Hamilton in the Abu Dhabi decider, over the course of the full season, Perez wasn't as much of a factor as he should have been in helping Verstappen on a regular basis. Perez got more comfortable with the Red Bull as his first season with the team went on, and he became more confident in taking his own direction with setup, but too often he gave himself too much to do on Sundays by not delivering in qualifying. If the new rules for this year shake up the order and/or bring the midfield teams closer to the frontrunners, then the penalty for underperforming on Saturdays could be even bigger than it was in 2021, when the 2 fastest cars on the grid had a clear baked-in advantage. Perez will be banking on feeling more settled at Red Bull to help him in that area, but lacking a little bit over a single lap has been a hallmark of much of his career, so it's unlikely to be an easy fix. Number 2, Ferrari. Ferrari comfortably topped this ranking when we did it for 2021, and the fact it has slipped down a place is no reflection on the job Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz did in their first season together. If anything, Sainz's performances were even better than some were expecting, and it's clear Ferrari has the stunning lineup we predicted would be the case 12 months ago. There's a brilliant balance to this combination, so any suggestions previously that Ferrari might have snapped up Sainz to be a strong number 2 have now been dispelled. Does he have that last little something special like Leclerc does to turn a half chance at a pole position, race win or podium into reality? From what we've seen so far, we can expect him to get very close when the chances arise. Number 1, Mercedes. Ferrari moving down a place wasn't a reflection on the Leclerc-Sainz pairing not being as good as expected in 2021, it's just that the goalposts have moved. In ranking the lineups for the race website, Mark Hughes described the combination of Lewis Hamilton and new teammate George Russell as an all-time great and a potential future one, while Scott Mitchell called it a powerhouse pairing. Even after suffering his first championship defeat since 2016, there are no question marks over Hamilton's level. He and Verstappen pushed themselves to new heights in 2021. The arrival of Russell will be fascinating. He'll be under pressure to deliver on the expectations of those who believe he can be part of F1's next generation of superstars, battling for races and championships for years to come with Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris and anyone else special that emerges. His heroics at Williams have backed up his stellar junior career, but it's a different game at the very front, and Bottas would certainly have a cautionary word or two about how draining it can be taking on Hamilton in the same car. Russell's F1 career up to now has left very few doubts about his performance in qualifying, and his Mr. Saturday tag could give Mercedes a crucial edge over Red Bull, given the doubts we mentioned earlier about Perez. But Bottas was also capable of being a stunning qualifier, then he could go missing in races. Russell could get away with an anonymous Sunday afternoon in a Williams, but there'll be no allowances made at the sharp end with Mercedes. So that's how our ranking shapes up, and here's a look at how the votes were cast, with points allocated using the F1 scoring system. As you can see, it wasn't quite a unanimous set of votes for Mercedes, because that Ferrari pairing is very hard to ignore. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed our look at the 2022 F1 driver lineups, even if you didn't agree with our final order. And if that's the case, keep the debate going in the comments with your own rankings, and we'll see you again very soon with another video on our channel.